Bill Burr talked about rugby this past week. And if you don't know who Bill Burr is a legendary comedian, actor. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's a top 10, top 15 comedian all time. I'm talking about within the Dave Chappelle's, the Chris Rock's, the fees, you take away some of the stuff, the Cosby's, Bill Burr. There's so many. There's a bunch. This isn't a podcast for comedians, but we know basically who a lot of them are. But Bill Burr was talking about the World Cup, and he was talking about how the U.S. sucks at soccer because we don't care, but if we had our best athletes, involved in soccer, we'd be dominant. I think it's a sentiment that has been pretty well talked about over and over again, that, if we got like the NFL guys going through, we'd absolutely do some damage. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that argument. But he had a messenger call in. They were from London and came in talking about rugby and talked about how USA men missed the Rugby World Cup, losing to Chile, and then following up by tying with Portugal. And, we know the history on that. And Bill Burr, in the process of tearing into that guy, oh my goodness, completely demolished my soul when it came to the conversation. Check it out.
Anyway, I'm a rugby fan, and I've heard this argument about what if NFL players played rugby? How good could USA be then, or even NFL rejects? I don't know, Bill, if you know much about American rugby, but you guys suck. Yeah, and we suck at soccer too because we don't give a fuck about it. Those aren't our best athletes. This is so stupid. This is like me trashing you because you guys aren't good at baseball. Come on now. In 2031, the U.S. will host the Rugby World Cup tournament. Where? In Wichita? Who fucking paid for that? The best of the best will come to your shores to play, and luckily for you guys, the host nation qualifies automatically. In 8 years' time, you Yanks will finally have the opportunity to put up or shut up or be embarrassed on the international stage. Oh, no. Yeah, you're not reading the tea leaves right. See, the reason why we suck at rugby is because those are like, as far as level of athlete that the United States offers, like they're not even in the conversation. Okay, so, I mean, have fun, put up or shut up. I think what they meant was if NFL football players, like if Bo Jackson, the greatest athlete I ever saw, decided to play rugby, he would run you guys over, all right? I'm not saying you wouldn't have some tough guys and but I would put our best athletes, if they gave a if they were what you're beating, sir, is the 30th tier level athlete in the United States of America. It's not a sport we give a. What are we supposed to dominate all of them? And I also I respect your passion, sir, but I got to be honest with you, when you guys trounce us and you run around America like no one's going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And look, as much as it's like rough what Bill Burr was saying, there's truth in it. There's truth. Like, we don't, as a nation, care. We don't, We have our community and we have a passion for it. But I make kind of the argument sometimes, I don't think we lack care. I just don't think we care sometimes enough. Or I think we've been so frustrated that it just has stopped us from being able to think further than the moment. In the comments, I mean, look, the U.S. has a lot of issues in a lot of areas, but one area that is very difficult for me to take is when people from other countries, smaller countries, countries with far less variation of population, will talk about how they are so much better in a sport and their potential was going to be better regardless of whatever was going to happen. That their potential than the US. All right. I'm gonna stand in this moment. This is where my level stop. This is my intensity. Sometimes I do feel that because we've been so beaten down as a US rugby community, that we're starting to allow some of the conversation from overseas to actually become true, where they can talk about how they're just good because they're good and pay attention and not because of the best athletes. And as a result, we don't actively try and go after them because, there's so many obstacles in the way. I don't get down with that. Oh, I don't get down with it. When I read the Bill Burr stuff burned my soul. And that one, it invigorated me because there is one part where it's like, by 2031, I want us to be on the highest level. And by the time we get to 2033, really, let's be honest, by 2028, I want the U.S. rugby to be a fire. There should be a fire starting for U.S. rugby by 2028, whenever the Olympics are in Los Angeles, all right? But by 2031, that kindling should be up and running. And by 2033, when the women go, this should be a full-on blaze. And I think that we talk so much about all the issues that go on in USA rugby that we don't even try to break barriers anymore. Like, our whole thing is rebelling. You're gonna let some English dude? You're gonna let some English dude talk to you? You're gonna let some English dude talk to you about your athletes? You're gonna let a person, look, no offense, look, all y'all good people, cousins, love, blah, 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 but y'all come competition. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let somebody from New Zealand or from Australia or from any other country gonna talk to the U.S., a U.S. citizen about sports. Our 300 million people, and you think out of 8 million, 16 million people, the basic size of one of our cities has more quality athletes than we do? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. And of course, they have right now the right to be able to talk because they've been beating our butts for so long. Beating our butts. But no, this is one of those moments where it's just like, okay, so what are we going to do about it? Oh, we don't pay like the NFL. Okay, so how do you get to that point? How do you get there? Oh, man, there's this and this barrier. Oh, USA Rugby is broke. Oh, we need to do youth rugby. Then go do it. Find the money. Oh, my God. This got me hyped angry. Hyped angry. This is my competitive. If you can't play on the field, play off. Play off the field. If you don't know how to get your audience invigorated, I don't care how many sports are here. F them sports. Once again, we got pickleball that's trying to pop up. People trying to be like, oh, is this a spectator sport? They got $1 million prize pool for their competition coming up. You're going to tell me that pickleball can get better attention than rugby? Man, you've got to get out of here with that. I love the fact that there is a very few amount of people who are trying to, not that there's not people who are not trying to work in rugby. There's a difference between working. There's plenty of passionate people in the U.S. who actively are working. But I'm not talking about working. This is not something that's just a work. This is that few base that is required to create fires for it. We are disruptors. Rugby has to be a disruptor, or else it just proves the point of what Bill Burr says. Nobody cares. Whenever the Rugby World Cup comes, nobody cares. Whenever all these people are going to be talking about, oh, the U.S. didn't deserve the Rugby World Cup, they're going to be proven right. And for me, I will find a way single-handedly, if I can, to try and make sure that is not going to be happening. All right, the storyline will be up popping, even if you got to create something to get it up popping, because that is impossible to be able to deal with for me. Impossible. The USA has a lot of problems, and we got a lot: political, ecological, educational, financial. I don't care. Everybody got problems. All right, there's not a single perfect country in the world. There's not. Everybody's got a problem in some way, shape, or form. This is the equivalent. Yeah, I was almost about to go into another side rant, but everybody's got a problem. But to say that we don't have either the time, the resources, the access, man, I'm learning every day. Every day, that's not true. It's a factor of who are you presenting it to. Like, how much effort is it going to be? Who wants to dedicate to this fire? I mean, really dedicate to bring the fire. Again, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody who's doing it or working on it does not try. And we know that people don't do volunteering well. Like, we're asking so much from people. But my goodness, we need this fire. And look, I know a few people who are bringing that fire from the HBCU side, from the media side, conference side, community side. I know people who want to bring that fire and trying to, but it's putting all these skill sets together. And this isn't a what can we define the problem? What can we define as the problem? It doesn't matter what the problem is. All that matters is the solution. And it doesn't even matter what the solution. All that matters is the execution of doing that. And I continue reading these. I read these comments from other people just to be able to make sure I don't ever forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because beating some other countries' butts feeds my soul. And I'm talking about tier 1, quote, countries like South Africa, France, England, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, in their respective formats. But they don't talk as much. But really, England, obviously, top. Ireland, I want these systems demolished. And so to do whatever is necessary to bring the right people into the front and get whatever resources is down by bringing whatever people need to be able to see this. Oh, we're going to get this done. Because I can't in my lifetime be able to sit and live another day of having to hear this kind of smack talk. I can eat it with soccer. I don't give a crap about soccer, I'm going to be honest. I mean, we're doing our stuff and yada, yada, MLS, yada, blah, 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 blah. But, I don't give a crap about soccer. But when it comes to rugby, when it comes to contact sports, all right, the U.S. is a contact nation. It's a contact nation, all right? Like, it's why we do team contact. It's why football doesn't exist anywhere else. Because it does exist. I'm being, superfluous. But it exists. But it's not to the level. Because not everybody wants to deal with contact. We a contact country, all right? If we're going to have all this inter-country trauma, we got to be able to take it out on some people, all right? Body to body, not in other ways. Body to body. And so for me, we can't handle it. So I'm Bill Burr said what he did. Unfortunately, it was to burn somebody who needed to be burned, and we ended up being the casualty of it. But I am excitedly ready to prove him wrong and then prove everybody else wrong within that same concept, man. I hope that you guys are getting burned fire like that, because I can't, some of these comments like this. Even Edsbeth would use Bo Jackson as his fluffer, and Jackson would have F all to say about it. I can't do this. Nah, bro. I can't do this. This is not David and Goliath that's happening. This is the freaking Cartman and literally everybody else. All these other countries are Cartman to me, and all we need to do is just bop, back in the mouth. But we got to actually do what's needed to be done for that. All right, and that's not in just putting systems, but I mean in the mentality. That just got me heated. Let me know what you guys think, man. Let's get to commercial.
For a while I lost my smile, but they still couldn't steal my style. Now they never gonna bring me down.